Good morning. Today we are going to discuss about the classification of assets and liabilities. A balance sheet is a statement that outlines the financial position of an enterprise. It is used to determine the financial position. It is necessary for the balance sheet to show the enterprise's assets and liabilities based on their characteristics. And here the assets are of different types: fixed assets, stock of consumable material, accrued or outstanding expenses, previous prepaid expenses, investment, and the liabilities are classified as capital fund, capitalized value, special funds, bank overdraft, income received in advance, outstanding expenses, and the creditors. Next, asset is something a business owns, that is cash, inventory, accounts receivable, real estate, equipments, vehicles, etc. And liabilities is nothing but something a business owes: employee wages, employee benefit, vendor payments, long term loans, etc. Next, we are going to see the classification of assets. Assets is nothing but represents everything which a business owns and that has a money value, and it is always shown on the debit side of the balance sheet. Asset is equal to liabilities plus equity, and the assets are classified into three different heads. First one is fixed asset, and the second one is floating asset, third one is current and liquid asset. Fixed asset is nothing but the assets which are held by the way of equipment and not for the purpose of resale, and it is permanent in nature. Fixed assets are the assets acquired for beneficial use and held permanently in the business. Business can earn profit by using these assets. Example of fixed asset are land, building, machineries, etc. Fixed assets are classified into four different types. The first one is tangible, second one is intangible, third one is wasting asset, and fourth one is fictitious asset. Tangible assets அப்படின்னா it can be seen and even touched. நம்மனால பார்க்கக்கூடியதும் நம்மனால டச் பண்ணக்கூடியதும் tangible assets அப்படின்னு சொல்றோம். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஃபர்னிச்சர், மிஷினரிஸ், எக்ஸெட்ரா. அண்ட் இன்டான்ஜிபிள் அசட் அப்படின்னா டேஞ்சிபிளுக்கு அப்படியே ஆப்போசிட்டா இருக்கிறது நம்ம வந்து இன்டான்ஜிபிள் அசட் அப்படின்னு சொல்றோம். Intangible assets are the assets which cannot be seen or touched. For example, patent, trademark, goodwill, etc. And the third one is wasting asset. Wasting asset is that get exhausted or reduce in value when we use it. For example, natural resources like coal, oil, etc. And the fourth one is fictitious assets. Fictitious assets have no physical existence or realizable value, but the company shows them as a cash expenditure in the book of accounts. And it does not have any physical existence. It has no resale value. For example, promotional expenses of a business and also the discount on issue of shares, etc. And the second type is floating asset or investment in marketable securities. Floating assets are that are continuously changing in quantity or are value, such as amount of accounts receivable, cash, inventory, etc. And it is valued at cost or market price, whichever is less. And the third one is current asset. Current asset is the asset that can convert into cash within 1 year, such as short term investment and account receivable. It is divided into two types. The first one is liquid asset. Liquid asset is nothing but the assets which can be quickly convertible into cash. Non-liquid assets take longer time as compared to the liquid asset to convert into cash. For example, inventory. And next we are going to discuss about types of liabilities. Liabilities are broadly classified into four types. The first one is fixed liability, second one is long-term liability, and the third one is current liability, and the last one is contingent liability. The liability is nothing but the term in accounting that is used to describe any kind of financial obligation that a business has to pay at the end of an accounting period to a person or a business. Liability, in simple words, means something that is owned to somebody else. The liability is calculated by subtracting the assets and the equity. The fixed liability is due to the owners, shareholders, or the partners of the firm, and they are payable only at the time of dissolution or liquidation of the firm. And the second one is long term liability. Long term loans, that is 5 to 10 years, or the debentures that are payable on or after the lapse of the term concerned to it in the borrowing agreement or document. And the third one is current liability. Current liability is nothing but the short term obligations payable within the next accounting period. The accounting period means 1st April to the 31st March, are payable within a very short period. Very short period means within 1 or 2 months. Example of current liabilities are bills payable, sundry creditors, and bank overdraft, etc. And the last one is contingent liability. Contingent liability arise depending on the happenings of certain events, such as liabilities may or may not arise. Such this liability may or may not occur sometimes, and it is important to be cautious about them. கண்டிஜென்ட் liability வருது வராமையும் போகலாம். ஆனா நம்ம வந்து அதுக்காக ப்ரிப்பேர் ஆயிருக்கணும். நம்ம கம்பெனி அது ரீபே பண்றதுக்கு எப்பயுமே தயாரா இருக்கணும். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் பில்ஸ் டிஸ்கவுண்ட். சம்டைம்ஸ் பில்ஸ் டிஸ்கவுண்ட் ஆகலாம், ஆகாமையும் போகலாம். பட் நம்ம வந்து அதை ரீபே பண்றதுக்கான கெப்பாசிட்டியை கண்டிப்பா நம்ம வந்து வளர்த்திக்கணும். These are the classification of the assets and liabilities. Thank you.